It's official, Ethan Slater is having a redemption arc, and I called this, you guys. I freaking knew this was going to happen when I saw everyone online kind of acting confused after the Wicked Australia premiere. Maybe I'm starting to like Ethan Slater. I knew it was going to happen. And now that the Wicked LA premiere has happened and those photos of Ariana and Ethan together have gone viral, it's happened. Everyone has turned and now everyone is obsessed with him. People are starting to fall in love with him. And like, honestly, I get it. I've seen some of the interviews. He seems like a really nice and genuine guy. Maybe the start of his relationship with Ariana was a little bit sketchy, but you know, he's kind of redeeming himself.
All right, loves, gather around because we need to talk about this wild twist in Ariana Grande's love life. Just when we thought that people were done with her and her boyfriend Ethan Slater, the vibes have completely flipped, and not in a small way either. People are switching up super fast. It's like they've got some kind of memory loss about everything that went down in the last year. And honestly, after all that drama, it is kind of shocking to see the internet practically begging to root for them now. So let's unpack this whole story from start to finish, because trust me, this is one plot twist nobody saw coming.
So it's fun to kind of have the challenge of reframing people's perception and kind of like doing the work to earn your way back into the other spaces.
But first, before we dive into the real tea, let's rewind a bit to when Ariana was getting major backlash just for landing the role of Glinda in Wicked. Just so y'all can get a picture of how much hate was coming her way. If you're a Wicked fan, then you probably already know that Ariana Grande's casting as Glinda in the movie literally blew up, and not in the way you would expect. Fans haven't been holding back. Let's just say that some of them were ready to throw their playbills in the trash. But before we get into all of the nitty-gritty, let's talk about how this whole situation even got to this point.
I want you to be our Glinda the Good.
Oh my god, thank you! I love her so much. I'm gonna take such good care of her. Thank you so much.
To give you some context, Ariana recently went on the Sentimental Men podcast and spilled on just how much she had to hustle for this role. You'd think with her mega stardom and Grammys sitting on her shelf, she'd walk right into any part she wanted, right? Wrong. Ariana was actually auditioning and proving herself for the role of Glinda like she was a total unknown. She even admitted that she understood why people might be side-eyeing her casting, especially if they only know her from her tracks like Side to Side and Seven Rings. And she's not wrong. This is Broadway we're talking about, not some pop charts that only need a pop princess on some high-energy musical theater.
Going off of Side to Side, I probably would have said the same thing. I probably would have said, why the Kill me. I've waited 20 years for this. Kill me.
First of all, y'all, it was kind of wild that people assumed A-list stars just land roles when, in real sense, they always work hard and audition just like others, at least in most cases. But for the most part, they always have to earn it. But here we had Ariana explaining that nothing about this role was just handed to her on a silver platter.
And this is something that I loved about auditioning so much for Wicked, was that like it has to be earned. Anything, as you know, on this scale, being a part of anything, I think it's not just like given.
Not only that, Ariana even admits that she was shaken in her designer boots about whether she could live up to everyone's expectations. She knew people would be side-eyeing her for daring to step into Glinda's iconic shoes. And it's not just your regular trolls, these are hardcore Wicked fans who have been loyal to the musical since day one.
It's funny because people sometimes say that to me. They're like, you had to audition? I'm like, yeah, I had to audition. Of course. What are you, out of your gourd?
Yeah.
It's Wicked, and it requires a totally different skill set than people know me for and have ever seen me do anything like. And of course, it's Wicked. That's the most respectful thing you have to do. It has to be earned.
But here is the craziest part of all of this. She even says that her fame might have actually worked against her. I know, right? Normally, being a household name is an advantage, but Ariana's out here saying that her image could make it harder for people to buy into her as Glinda. Like, can fans really see her as a fresh, bubbly character without thinking about all the high ponytail sass and chart-topping bops?
I think, of course, like any human being carrying something about something they care so much about like that. You know, it's been a great secret. You know, they didn't get to see any auditions or know anything. So, you know.
But even with this crazy pushback, she managed to keep her cool and realize that this was not about her, but rather the story. She did her best to lose herself in the character, and she wants the audience to do the same. And in what seems to be the wildest plot twist of the year, the tide seems to be turning, not just for Ariana, but for Ethan Slater as well.
I felt a little bit of the initial nervousness or the sort of preconceived notions about what I might be able to deliver or not deliver, or why I would be wrong or whatever.
This is the part where I ask you to grab your popcorn, because we are about to dive deep into the rabbit hole.
The thing is that, like, we know this about the tabloids and about the media and about, like, am I crazy? Don't we know this?
Yeah, but nobody cares for the sake of a good story or for curing one's boredom on the internet.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like we selectively remember that this is what the tabloids do to people, especially women, based on whether or not we like the person. We selectively remember that. We selectively leave space for humanness, for nuance. Like, they don't leave space for that. Well, they do for their friends and their family. It's selective. Yeah, but when they turn it off, when that aligns with the version of a person that they have in their head that they want to believe is true. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah.
But I don't say this for them. Again, I'm saying it for my fans, for myself.
As you probably remember, this past year has been brutal for Ariana. She has been dragged through the mud since the news broke that she was divorcing her husband, Dalton Gomez, and moving on with Ethan Slater, her co-star in Wicked. Now, if you remember, Ethan was still technically married at the time, and the internet did not take kindly to Ariana jumping into a relationship with a married guy. People were throwing out words like homewrecker, and the headlines were pretty brutal. It didn't help that Ethan had also just had a baby with his wife, Lily J, which made this whole situation look like something straight out of a soap opera. And you know how the internet is. They do not hold back. Fans were dragging Ethan hard, questioning everything from his looks. Seriously, people were saying that he looks like Ariana's brother Frankie, to his career choices. Like, they were making memes about his role as SpongeBob on Broadway, roasting his style, and basically wondering what Ariana, one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, could possibly see in him. Let's just say it was messy. But then, just as people were about to cancel Ariana completely, things started to shift. The story goes that after the drama reached a peak, there was a moment when some fans took a closer look at her latest album, and suddenly the narrative started to change. The lyrics seemed to hint that maybe Dalton wasn't the innocent guy everyone thought he was. People started piecing together lines that suggested he might have stepped out on Ariana. Next thing you know, Twitter was blowing up with posts defending Ariana, saying that she was the real victim here, and suddenly people were throwing shade at Dalton instead.
Afternoon. What can I do for you?
I need to buy a gun.
Now, let's talk about Ethan for a hot minute. At first, he kept pretty quiet, but then he started showing up in interviews and giving the world a different perspective on his relationship with Ariana. There was that GQ interview where he was literally blushing, talking about how he and Ariana fell for each other on the set of Wicked, and how his life has completely changed because of the media frenzy. And in the most unexpected twist, fans started to find him endearing. Like, people were out here calling him sweet and saying that they get what Ariana sees in him. I know, it's almost unbelievable given how harsh people were just a few months ago.
Hi, I'm Ethan Slater, and this is GQ's one-word reply.
How are you feeling?
Good.
What did you have for breakfast?
Lunch.
Favorite time of day?
Morning.
Camelot or Spamalot?
Spamalot.
Dream co-star?
Jim Carrey.
How did you get into character to play SpongeBob SquarePants on Broadway?
Stretching.
Biggest pet peeve?
Falling.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Baker.
What is your favorite thing about NYC?
Walking.
First Broadway show you saw?
42nd Street.
What is your most used emoji?
Smiley face.
If you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would it be?
Patrick.
What inspires you?
Art.
Favorite character you've played so far?
Bach.
What was it like working on the film adaptation of Wicked?
Wild.
Biggest difference between the screen and the stage?
Close.
How did it feel to be nominated for a Tony?
Bizarre.
What's your hidden talent?
Nothing.
What is your favorite thing to do after a show?
Sleep.
What is something that people don't understand about SpongeBob SquarePants?
Joy.
How do you warm up to get ready to perform?
Barely.
But that is not even the craziest part part, y'all. One particular moment that really seemed to change things was a video of Ethan on the red carpet with Ariana. Some fans approached him asking if he could pass a bracelet to Ariana, and the way he handled it, oh, let's just say people melted. He was super polite, taking the time to reassure the fans that Ariana would love it, even posing for a selfie with them. Fans in the comments were like, wait, this guy is actually nice? People were admitting that this one moment completely changed their view of him. Super wild.
Sure. Is it possible for you to give this to Ari for me?
I think she'll be coming if you want, but I can do that.
Yeah?
Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Pretty please.
Yeah, of course.
I would really appreciate that.
Sure. She'll love it. I'm sure she'll love it.
Can we take a selfie?
Yeah.
Take on her.
Wait, on your phone.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Then there was this clip of Ethan backstage at the Jennifer Hudson show where he was all smiles, vibing along as the crew sang him out onto the stage. And y'all, it was like people just fell for him overnight. Fans were calling him sweet, down to earth, and suddenly all the hate started fading away. The internet was starting to warm up to the idea that maybe, just maybe, Ariana and Ethan aren't the villains in this story.
Ethan Slater, it's the music for me.
Get me started on Ariana. She has been sticking by Ethan's side this whole time, defending him against the tabloids. She recently told Vanity Fair that the way people twisted the story was just ridiculous. That tabloids painted this totally inaccurate picture of Ethan, making him out to be someone he isn't. According to her, the real Ethan is caring, kind-hearted, and nothing like the image the media created. I mean, she went in to set the record straight, telling the world that Ethan has the best heart and is one of the most genuine people she has ever met. And if you think that's intense, there's even more. Ethan has his own way of handling fame, and honestly, it seems to be doing it in the most wholesome way possible. He talked about being a dad and how much his son means to him, saying that he wants to protect his son from all this craziness and let him grow up without the spotlight. It was such a raw moment that fans couldn't help but feel for him. Even people who were ready to cancel him before were like, okay, maybe he's not so bad. You can practically see the redemption arc unfolding right in front of us.
When I saw everyone online kind of acting confused after the Wicked Australia premiere, going, I don't know, like maybe I'm starting to like Ethan Slater. I knew it was going to happen. And now that the Wicked LA premiere has happened and those photos of Ariana and Ethan together have gone viral, I'll show you guys them in a minute. It's happened. Everyone has turned, and now everyone is obsessed with him. Love it or hate it, Ethan Slater is in his redemption era because after all of this Wicked press, people are starting to fall in love with him. And like, honestly, I get it. I've seen some of the interviews. He seems like a really nice and genuine guy. Maybe the start of his relationship with Ariana was a little bit sketchy, but you know, he's kind of redeeming himself. And now people are reacting to these photos of Ethan and Ariana on the red carpet together going, oh my goodness, I wish someone looked at me the way that Ethan looks at Ariana.
And then came the big Wicked premiere. Ariana and Ethan walked hand in hand, and for some reason, that moment hit different for a lot of people. Maybe it's because we hadn't seen them together publicly since all the drama started, but fans were saying they looked cute, genuine, and even happy. They weren't putting on a show, just two people who clearly care about each other, and it was refreshing in a way that nobody expected. So here we are now with fans who were throwing shade left and right, suddenly jumping on board the Ariana-Ethan ship. The vibe shift is real, and it's honestly one of the most unpredictable turnarounds we've seen in celebrity culture in a minute. Fans were weirdly conflicted, admitting that they're starting to see what Ariana saw in Ethan all along. They're still a little shook, but hey, they're here for the ride. And it's not just the fans either. There are people speculating that maybe the timing of this whole redemption arc has something to do with Wicked finally hitting the theaters. I mean, it's it's no secret that the movie industry loves a little real-life romance to boost ticket sales. Whether or not that's true, one thing is for sure, the public opinion of Ariana and Ethan has done a complete 180. Safe to say this relationship has done so much good for the movie, unlike the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni hot mess we recently witnessed during the It Ends With Us premiere. Because if the internet can go from hating to adoring Ariana and Ethan in just a few months, anything is possible. But that's the crazy thing about being in the public eye. Opinions are so unpredictable, and sometimes it only takes a few heartfelt moments to completely rewrite the narrative. All right, that's the rundown on this insane story, and all we can say is, what a comeback. But hold up, just because some people are switching up on Ariana and Ethan doesn't mean that everyone is on board. For a lot of fans, no amount of red carpet charm or soft-spoken interviews is going to erase the drama and hurt caused by their relationship. For starters, people are calling out Ethan's whole nice guy image, saying it's got nothing to do with the actual problem. Him being friendly in public is cool, but that doesn't erase his actions behind closed doors. People feel that he's getting an easy pass for being polite and sweet in interviews, while his actual behavior in his personal life tells a different story.
Anybody who's a fan of Ariana for her music, they know how talented she is. They know that she has, one of the best voices of her generation or ever, and can do anything with it. I think that her acting is like above and beyond. It's incredible. Her comedy is ridiculous. She's just like the best comedian that you've seen on screen in decades, and I mean that. I really, really do.
And let's talk about his ex-wife Lily J, who's been mostly silent since this whole thing blew up. Notice how Ethan never brings her up? People are quick to point out that he's just skating right over his past with her. Here is a woman who stood by him as he was building his career, taking care of their newborn practically by herself while he was off filming and building a new relationship with Ariana. Where is the respect for her? Fans feel like he should be acknowledging Lily's sacrifices as a postpartum mother who is dealing with the end of her marriage and raising a baby solo. He could at least throw out a "she's the mother of my child and I'll always have respect for her." But there's been radio silence. Some fans think this is a huge red flag, that maybe he's not bringing her up because he knows the narrative doesn't look good for him, no matter how nice he acts in public. And then there's Ariana, who's getting her fair share of side eyes too. A lot of people feel like she's manipulating the narrative with her latest album, painting herself as the misunderstood, wronged party, while knowing full well that her ex, Dalton Gomez, cannot say a word. Remember, Ariana allegedly had him sign a strict NDA as a part of their divorce settlement, which means that he legally cannot talk about their relationship, confirm or deny any of the cheating allegations, or share his side. So while Ariana's out here singing about her heartbreak and hinting at betrayal, Dalton's hands are tied, which fans think is pretty shady. If he can't speak out, we're only getting one side of the story, Ariana's side. And some people aren't just swallowing that whole narrative without question. And let's be real, there's no shortage of people who think Ariana is no stranger to messy behavior herself. While fans sympathized with her if Dalton did cheat, they're not overlooking the fact that she allegedly got involved with Ethan while he was still married. For a lot of people, being cheated on doesn't exactly give someone a free pass to go and repeat the same behavior. As one fan put it, being cheated on is horrible, but becoming a cheater after that too is not okay. It's like they're saying two wrongs don't make a right, and just because she may have been hurt in one relationship doesn't mean she's in the clear for jumping into another murky circumstance. People are also looking at Ethan's nice guy moments and saying it doesn't really prove anything. Just because he's polite on a red carpet or sweet with fans doesn't suddenly make him some saint. People are quick to point out that a cheater doesn't have to look like the next Andrew Tate to still be in the wrong. Niceness and infidelity aren't mutually exclusive, and for some fans, no amount of charm will make them forget that Ethan left his wife and newborn behind for a pop star. They feel that Ethan's public persona is just that, a persona. They're saying he can be as nice as he wants on camera, but it doesn't erase the fact that his actions hurt people. So generally, even as the tides are turning, there are just as many fans who still hold that this is pure manipulation. Like, they are genuinely baffled by how quickly the narrative seems to be shifting in Ethan and Ariana's favor. One minute it's all backlash and criticism, and now suddenly people are eating up these cute red carpet moments and sweet sound bites, holding Ari and Ethan as the newest couple goals. And for this group, it's sad to see others fall for it, claiming that people can't even tell when they're being manipulated by PR tactics. For them, it feels like classic celebrity damage control. Give the public a few moments, and everyone forgets the mess underneath. At the end of the day, not everyone is vibing with this sudden redemption arc. Ariana and Ethan may have softened some hearts, but there's a solid group of fans out there who see right through it and aren't ready to forgive and forget. Whether it's the way Ethan ignored his ex-wife, the fact that Ariana's side of the story is the only one we're hearing, or just the uncomfortable reminder that both of them played a part in breaking up 2 relationships, some fans just aren't convinced. Thanks, loves, for watching, but trust me, the tea doesn't stop there, because Hollywood has been on fire lately. You have to check out the latest Diddy video where we spill the tea on the entire list of big names that got exposed at Diddy's infamous parties, and let's just say there are some serious shockers on that list. You don't want to miss this one, so head over there now and see for yourself who made the cut. It's wild.